The general strategist begins. This intelligence comes from one of our spies embedded within the demonic alliance's territory. The Blade Lord, current leader of the Blade God Six-Blade martial clan, has taken part of his forces and headed west toward Lhasa in Tibet, and as some of the masters here may already know, another detachment of their forces was sent north in pursuit of the dragon turtle. Pangguyu, furious, says then the deployment of our expeditionary force to the northern sea was because strategist Yu Bomryo read answers after consolidating all the gathered intelligence. I have come to a realization that their ambition is not limited to conquering the central plains. He concludes the Blade God's Six-Blade martial clan seeks to kill the sacred beasts themselves, those dwelling within the imperial palace in the northern sea and in Lhasa as well. The present sacred beast, just like the demonic cult, coveted the blood of the fire Qilin, a treasure of the Ming Empire. Are they now after these treasures as well? Pulls out a book and some recognize it as true scripture. They ask strategist Yu Bomryo why this book. He replies, as Grandmaster Gakien said, the extreme Six-Blade martial clan is after the sacred beasts. More specifically, they seek the true essence contained within these sacred beasts. Pangguyu, true essence, do you mean to say they want a sudden surge in internal power? Strategist Yu Bomryo answers, no, honestly, I thought it was just a legend mentioned in the scriptures, but seeing that they are after the 5 spirits. Another asked, what are you trying to say? This is frustrating. Strategist Yu Bomryo responds, everyone, please look here. He opens the book and says it's exactly as written in true scripture. Whoever obtains the true essence of the 5 spirits shall achieve immortality. Another asked strategist Yu Bomryo, immortality, could it be the same immortality sought by the first emperor in ancient times? Leader Li Mok responds naturally, for many lords find this hard to believe. However, the crucial point is not immortality itself, he continues. According to the information gathered by strategist Yu Bomryo and Master Beck, our alliance can use this to decisively turn the tables on them. Strategist Yu Bomryo pulls 5 pieces from his sleeve, each corresponding to positions on the map. Mark Chariot, King, Upright, Earth. Strategist Yu Bomryo explains, from now on our alliance will launch an all-out campaign for the future of the orthodox martial world. Everyone is shocked. First Master Mu Guchen thinks, was this why the Western Commander First Master was called? But if he leaves the front lines, won't it be difficult to counter the unorthodox faction? Strategist Yu Bomryo continues, right now the unorthodox faction is in chaos due to ongoing internal conflict. The all-out campaign must be launched at this moment. Mek Yujong speaks up saying that's not everything. The true essence of the dragon turtle has fallen into the hands of the demon god. Some present are shocked and ask how this could be. Strategist Yu Bomryo replies, the all-out campaign I mentioned earlier is to prevent that. Another asks, what do you mean? If that monster already possesses the true essence, how could we possibly stop it? Strategist Yu Bomryo answers, it's not over yet. I don't know if other sacred beasts truly exist. However, there is an interesting legend regarding Changbai Mountain. He asks, could it be there is a sacred beast on Changbai Mountain? Strategist Yu Bomryo replies, exactly, Wind White Tiger. According to Immortal White classic true scripture, there exists a sacred beast called Wind White Tiger, one of the 5 spirits on Changbai Mountain. Abbot Gakien says, if the white tiger truly is a sacred beast, it must also possess a true essence, and as Commander said, the Blade God's Blade martial clan or the demonic cult would very likely target it. Strategist Yu Bomryo continues, from now on our alliance will split into 2 forces and head toward the enemy bases marked on the map, Hangzhou and Changbai Mountain. On the map, the king represents the Blade God's Six-Blade martial clan forces fleeing to Lhasa in the western regions. Chariot marks the demonic cult forces in the northern sea, and while general strategist explain, Make Zhang begins to think of Master Kong. He recalls the moment when he held his decapitated head and made things Lord Yang who dreamed of the blue sky. Your death has become the spark for a great flame for the greater good. The scene shifts to the northern Great Plains. Hyobong is amazed to see his jerk and asked, is this really mine? Hyobong excitedly says, can I really use it? Juqian Dan responds, weren't you pestering me to try it out? Hyobong steps inside and says, oh, the inside is really cool too. Juqian Dan thinks Hyobong has reached the unrestrained realm comparable to an elder or a sect master. Yet why does he act like a mere apprentice? He turns to him and asks, do you need it as well? Elder Mongmo answers, I'm fine. More importantly, it would be good if we could give one to the cult leader as a gift. Juqian Dan says, now that I think about it, the former sect leader isn't here. He answers, he's probably with the former supreme leader. Juqian Dan asked, are the 2 of them training again? He responds, of course they are. We see Yeo-Woon with his grandfather before a rocky wall with a fire lit. His grandfather strikes the wall using the heavenly demon sword technique 4th form. He strikes several points and after a few seconds the wall collapses. Yeo-Woon praises him saying, excellent grandfather. You flawlessly executed the 4th form of the heavenly demon sword technique. His grandfather turns, laughs and replies, it's all thanks to you, Yeo-Woon. Just knowing the Kai's circulation technique grants such power. He thinks the Kai's circulation technique I painstakingly developed seems trivial in comparison to this. Is it true that the heavenly demon patriarch was a genius to have created this? It would have been ideal to cultivate inner power with the heavenly demon sword technique instead of the reverse muscle classic, but unfortunately, I can't convert my inner power immediately. What a shame, Yeo-Woon asked grandfather, will you practice the fifth form as well? He answers, no, even with perfect theoretical understanding the fifth form is harder to master than I expected. Merging all sword techniques into one unified form is not easy. Then he says, Yeo-Woon, I'm grateful to you, but I also feel sorry. He replies, not at all, Supreme Grandmaster. It's only natural for you to learn the heavenly demon sword technique. His grandfather says, even so, the fact that this old man is learning our sect's greatest martial art. Yeo-Woon replies, but it's not the absolute best. Yeo-Woon thinks, I do not wish to hide the truth from grandfather after all the years he sacrificed for the sect. His grandfather asked, what do you mean the heavenly demon sword technique is not the best? Yeo-Woon explains. On the cliff of Broken Sword Valley, the heavenly demon patriarch left behind an unfinished sword manual. His grandfather is surprised and Yeo-Woon continues, it would be better if you see it for yourself. He leaps high, releases his power and summons his sword. His grandfather, seeing this, thinks the sword paths traverse directions that are impossible for a human body to execute. How can such a sword manual exist? And it seems as though the heavenly demon sword technique and extreme divine martial arts are mixed together. Yeo-Woon strikes the wall with his devastating power. His grandfather is shocked and says, this can't be. This is what the founding patriarch created, an incomplete sword technique. We see that Yeo-Woon has made a huge hole in the wall, destroying it. He then says, strictly speaking, even the founding heavenly demon patriarch gave up on completing this sword technique. It is explained that in the future, no one except the demon god Cheon Yeo-Woon will be able to master it. Yao says, I have named it Demon God Sword Art. It is the moment the legendary sword technique makes its first appearance here in the northern Great Plains.